Hey folks, it's me, Crazy Doug, your favorite ultralight carp action star. Whoa! Whoa! Going fishing in a few minutes, but first I want to talk to you about how to take care of your Penrod Extreme. We can go over a few of the do's and don'ts today. The first thing I want to cover is opening and setting up your Penrod Extreme. You want to take the cap off. That's this part here with the clip on it. Give it a little twist if you have to. And a good place to put it, a lot of folks like to do, is put it right on the butt there. It makes your butt handle a little longer. Now the next thing I like to do before I extend the rod is to go ahead and seat my reel. And the reason I like to do it that way is so I don't have the rod waving around while I'm playing with the reel, because believe me, I'm mechanically impaired. Now, the reel shoe, let's go ahead and get a close-up, has these little recessed areas here where the reel shoe fits. And you want to put the shoe in there, and then you want to make sure that your reel seat is fully extended. That's this metal part right here. And then you just want to tighten this knurled knob down till it's just snug. This is not the time to exercise your grip strength. Now we're ready to open our Penrod Extreme. And there is one method that you can tilt the rod down and then snug the tubes up. Here's how I like to do it, because, as I said, I'm a mechanical moron. I take the first tube, the one with the penfishingrods.com logo on it, and I pull it out fairly snug because it goes into this handle here, the reel seat, that doesn't bend. Then I take the next biggest section and I pull it out just snug. You don't want to make this like a solid blank rod, because it's not. Then you take out the next biggest section, the next biggest section. Make sure that your eyes, the things, the little doohickeys here the line goes through, are lined up. And you want to keep taking out the biggest available section until we come to the tip. One thing I want you to remember right now is never open or close your Penrod Extreme by the tip. Now when we close our Penrod Extreme, it's the same procedure in reverse. We want to take that first largest section, the next one, and so on, always taking the biggest available section and pushing them in. And we want to be really careful not to bang the metal together. We want to do this very gently. Okay folks, what I'm holding in my hand here is the Penrod Extreme with the bait casting extreme reel, and I just want to go over the controls really quick. This knob here controls your reel tension. This control here activates the clutch that lets your spool spin freely. This is the crank. If you turn the crank, it puts an end to the free spool. This is the crank right here. And this is the star drag adjustment. I'm going to push it away from me to make the drag tighter, and turn it back towards me to make the drag looser. In other words, as you were looking at the drag system, it's going to be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You're going to hear that again. Right makes it tight, left makes it loose. Okay folks, what we have here in my hand is the MX-15 all-aluminum rear drag model. This is my new favorite in the Penrod Extreme line. Very nice little reel, but the drag function works the same as on all the other rear drag models. And what we mean by that is the drag is located in the rear. And the way this works is, you'll heard this before, you'll hear it again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now usually when I'm fishing with this one, I'm fishing for carp, and I like to start off with my drag very loose, almost all the way open. What I'll do is I'll make my cast, and then if I have to set the rod down for any reason, I make sure the drag is all the way open and the rod is in a proper holder. When I hold it, I'm going to tighten the drag up just a little bit, and I'm going to see that I have just enough drag to set the hook. Now remember, all the drag you need to start a fight is enough to set that hook. Once you have your fight started, if you need a little more drag, you can always add a little bit. If you ever add more drag, you want to lower your rod tip and point it to the fish while you're tightening your drag up, and then bring it back up slowly. If the rod bends too fast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to point that rod tip straight at the fish. This is one of my favorite absolute reels in the Penrod Extreme line, because I like to go after fairly large fish for a rod of this type. I like carp. And this spool holds just a little bit more line than the other reels do. This is a very nice, very durable little front drag reel. It has an anti-reverse. That button's right here. That keeps your spool from going in reverse. And the drag is located on the front. This is the drag here that I'm pointing my finger at, and it works the same as the other ones except for it's on the front of the reel. And again, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You turn it to the right as you're facing it to tighten it, to the left to loosen it. Now when the rod's in your hand, and if you have to adjust it in the middle of a fight, you're actually going to be turning it to your left to tighten it and to your right to loosen it because you're behind it. But from the front of the face, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And again, we want to have our drag set so the fish can take line out and play against the spool. What we mean by that is that the drag is loose enough so when the fish runs, the rod's only going to bend so far before the drag starts clicking off and the fish takes out line. That puts the strain on the reel and the spool instead of on our Penrod Extreme. And again, during the initial run, we're going to have the rod fairly low and the drag fairly loose. We might reel back a little bit to add some resistance, but we're not going to start getting crazy trying to pull the fish towards us until they've gotten that initial run out of their system. We're going to let them tire out. He's taking us for a ride. And what we've done here is we've hooked up an angry little carp on the Penrod Extreme. Oh, nice little fight he's giving us here. Yeah, listen to him taking that drag out. Now here's the secret of catching big fish on an ultralight. You have to have your drag set so the fish can take line. Hey kids, it's Crazy Doug again. And we're out here at Derby Pond near Camden, Delaware, with the Penrod Extreme MX-15 all-aluminum rear drag model. And this is another tip on taking care of your Penrod Extreme. I hope you can see this line here. This is smoke-colored fire line, and we're using it so you can see it a little bit better than the clear monofilament. You always want to make sure that your line is properly positioned when using your Penrod Extreme. In the case of this reel, that means it's under the bail arm right here, and it's fed right through the eyes, and it's properly through the tip. You don't ever want to have your line wrapped around the tip. And another thing you never want to do is let your line get slack and get under your reel or behind your crank handle. Hey folks, it's me, Crazy Doug again. And this is the net that I use when I'm fishing with my Penrod, because I like to fish for carp. But no matter what kind of fish I catch, I do not lift the fish out of the water with my Penrod Extreme. For a very small fish, and we'll show you an example of that in a clip here in just a second, I may play the fish until he tires out and lift the line. Most of the time, I'm going to be fishing from the bank, and you're going to see me use a net like this, even to land a fish that weighs 1 or 2 pounds. Why do I do that? Because it keeps the pressure off my Penrod Extreme. And really, I'm just showing you how I get used to them. I'm pretty familiar with the MX-15 drag. What I like to do is go out and get a few small panfish. Just kind of get used to the action.